Okay, now go.
Who were the Horatii?
The Horatii were three brothers, triplets, who were chosen to fight against three Alban triplets in a certain battle that Livy records. Livy expresses, a little bit of doubt about whether that's really their name. There are two sets of brothers, the Curiatii and the Horatii, and Livy thinks that the tradition that Horatii were the Romans is probably correct, but he does express the possibility that we have it all wrong. The Curiatii were really the Romans, and the Horatii might have been the Albans, but he sticks with the Horatii version and uses that name.
So, who is Livy?
Livy is a Roman historian who was writing in the first couple of decades A.D. He died, I think, around 17 A.D., 16, 17 A.D., so he was writing during the time of Augustus. And he was writing history about stuff that had happened, 700 years before he was alive. So that's like one of us writing history about the Middle Ages. That's the distance he had from some of the events that he was writing about. And as a result, a lot of what he records is actually legendary history more than what we might consider really, history with a real hard factual basis. And I don't think that he minded writing kind of trumped up history. He was happy to go with the moving story over what he necessarily knew the facts of. He was willing to balance in favor of literary effect over accuracy.
What was the reason for the conflict between the two families?
Between the two families? What are you talking about? I'm not quite sure.
That's what she says for the question.
Oh, between Rome and Alba Longa? I can't remember.
From the painting. Because, what's the Camilla and... That's what you're talking about? Or are you talking about a different one?
Actually, wait, did he have a patron?
I don't know anything about a patron.
Or like a person he was like writing for, but
Livy. Well, Livy. Okay, so Livy was familiar, or he was friendly with Augustus's family. The first family, that family of Roman emperors are called the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Livy knows Augustus. He was a tutor to Claudius, who later became emperor. Well, not a tutor maybe, but he gave him advice as a history writer. Claudius, that emperor, also wrote history. So he was close with that family. There's every reason to believe he wanted to promote the kind of PR agenda that Augustus was pursuing, kind of highlighting Roman values in the stories he'd tell in his history.
Roman values? Like, which ones?
This is a good question. Well, some of the stuff like we read today in Caesar, the courageous soldier. What other Roman values did he really try to bring out? You got me with a question that I can't quite answer. Hopefully you edit that out.
Maybe like women's rights, any of those?
I can't think of it. Okay, well, women. In another instance, yeah, sure. Another famous episode, it's legendary history more than it is necessarily factual, but Romulus starts his little city, Rome, and doesn't have a population. He sends word that anyone who's been driven out of any other town in Italy can come and live in this new town, Rome. And there's a problem with the kind of population you generate that way, which is that it's mostly male. There's not a lot of women who have been exiled from different cities. It's mostly men. So the early Roman city has a problem. It's filled with men. The way they get over this problem is what's known as the rape of the Sabine women. They invite another town to come over and celebrate a festival with them. While they're celebrating, the Romans just take out their weapons and steal all the women from the Sabines and drive the men away. When the men come back, I believe it's like years later, because they try to gather a whole bunch of other people who attack the Romans with them. The women have been living, married to Romans. They have children by these Roman fathers. And there's the Sabines attack the city. They're fighting in the streets. And the story is the women come out and stop the fighting, saying, we're watching our brothers kill our husbands, our fathers being killed by our husbands. We have children by these men who stole us. And there's kind of this agreement that, well, why can't we all just live together? And it's brought about by the women. The women are the one who bring peace in that situation. It's kind of a feminist moment. I can't think of other strongly feminist moments in Livy, though. I don't know.
I think when she means what was the reason for the conflict between the two families, meaning the Horati and the Curiati, but you kind of already
well, that was the only reason the Horati and the Curiati fight is because there's a war between their cities. It's because there's a war between their cities. So, and they fight as representatives of their cities. Albans are fighting the Romans. The Horati fight for the Romans. The Curiati fight for the Albans. And otherwise, actually, there had been a wedding alliance, or like a marriage alliance between the two families, right? That the sister of the Horati was actually engaged to one of the Curiati. That's what results in her murder later on.
That's it.
That's it? Okay.